Hey, Talofa Lava. Leotawa Dr. John Peterson here, TE2 at Sports Cards. Coming at you live and direct from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hope everyone is doing well out there. It is Thursday, and thought I'd do another PSA graded reveal. Just got some cards back from PSA yesterday, and what are we calling this one? Destruction, Terror, and Mayhem from PSA. I'm looking forward to going through this with you, showing you the cards, and then giving you the financials and some of the data. Check it out.
TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Get at it.
All right, let's get started here. No hesitation and no delay, as they say. First off, you'll have to excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. So if you hear some sniffles or some throat clearing, I deeply apologize. I don't like watching that or listening to that when I'm watching a YouTube video, but I'll do my very best to minimize it as much as possible so that you're not having to listen to that. What do we know about this submission? So this was the last installment of the South Dakota collection. It was part of the how would I put it? It was I'll explain it. So the guy who I bought the South Dakota cards from, his uncle had passed away. This is after I got the main portion of the collection and had it graded. His uncle had passed away, and he said, he found a box of Michael Jordan cards, mostly low to mid-end stuff. No real expensive inserts really or anything like that. I think I got the lot. I think there were 325 cards in the lot. I think I got it for like $250. So it was like 75 cents per card. So the outlay was pretty low, but of the 325 cards, really only 31, in my opinion, were gradable. I guess I could go back and see if there's others that could be gradable. They're in the 5,000 count box now. And sometimes you do find cards in your 5,000 count box that should be graded. So I'll go back and take a look. And I've got a stack over here of Jordans always that I'm looking to reevaluate and potentially send in. There were 31 cards at 75 cents a card. The card outlay was $25, so real low risk on the cards. I got this in right before they increased the cost by a couple bucks for value, not value bulk, not value plus, the one in between. I can't remember from PSA. It was $25 a card. So 31 times 25 is $775 on the grading fee. The shipping, let's see here. The shipping was $100. I put down $125. I don't think it was that expensive. I think it was $45 to ship them back, and then probably $40 to ship them there. So probably closer to $80. I do ship priority, and sometimes I ship priority express, which is a little more. You might think, well, why are you spending $40 to ship them? Well, it makes a difference rather than having it take 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And the shipping costs are deductible. Total outlay I had at $925. I had the estimated value at $5,525. I was pretty generous with how I thought I was going to do on this. I had the estimated profit at $38.80. So that's after you multiply the 5525 times 0.87. Most of the cards sell for between 85 and 90% of comps. And then you subtract the 925, and that's how you get to $38.80 for the estimated profit. That's the order. It took, let's see here. I sent it in on 8/9 and got it back yesterday. So 9/9, 10/9, 11/9. You're looking at 3 full months, a little over 3 full months for PSA to get these cards back. So that's not great. It's making it difficult to do this because the cards sell so fast. I've got a show this weekend at Brooklyn Center at the Earl Brown Heritage Center, and I'm guessing 90% of these cards will be sold before they even get listed it on eBay. So, I mean, if you don't have cards coming in like every week, you're going to be behind if you're doing shows and selling on eBay, in my opinion, in terms of inventory. I mean, I've got some inventory. I've got probably 50, 60 cards slabbed up, and I've also got, plenty of raw cards, but it's hard to keep up when eBay, when PSA is having such long turnaround times. A couple of the orders that I've just recently submitted, I've got a bunch of orders with PSA right now. I've had to do like Value Plus, which is like $45, which is not really exciting to me. But I also can't wait 4 months to get my cards back. Excuse me. So, I guess you kind of, and the grading fees I deduct, so, that's not a problem. But still, you got to have the cash flow to be able to pay those fees. So, excuse me. So, anyway, that's what I know about that. Let's get into the reveal. Turn my camera just a tiny bit here. Straighten things out, see if this is going to work here for us. Got my lamp here. So if you have any questions, please do leave comments. I called this Destruction, Terror, and Mayhem. It is a little bit of Destruction, Terror, and Mayhem. Actually, the order, I think, went pretty well, all things considered. Had I hit a few more, this would have been, I think, maybe not a great order, but definitely more of a higher end, above average. I'd say this is kind of a little above average. It could have been, one or two more cards, 10s. This would have been a great, great order, but you'll have to make the judgment yourself. Okay, so these were high. There were a couple of higher power cards in the sub. This is one. These are 98 upper deck, higher power. Pretty cool cards. I love the refraction on these. This one got a 7. So, not terrible. I don't know, what do we have this card at? I had this as a 9. Came back as a 7. $35 card. Otherwise, it would have been closer to $100. Also a higher power card. I had this as a 9, and it came back as a 7. So $50 for this one. Not quite sure why this one is worth more than the other one, but so overgraded the first two. Excuse me. This next one is a Memorable Moments. I had this as a 9, and it got an 8. These are tough to, I didn't think it was going to 10, but I did think it looked clean enough to be a 9. That's $20. So that's a small loss. Got some 1998 Top Stars. I had this as a 9. Not a really big card anyway as a 9. But I needed to get some stuff graded just for inventory purposes. This came back as an 8, $25 card. Excuse me, get some coffee here. Same card, NBA Stars. I had this one also as a 9. And it came back as a 9. So, about $35-40 on that one. Excuse me. Same card, 96 Top Stars. Had this as a 9. Came back as an 8. Tough. It's tough, guys. I'm not going to lie. You got to be good to get these good grades with PSA. They've gotten so tough, in my opinion. Another Top Stars. This is a 96 again. I had this as a 9. And we got the 9. So, that was good. But only like a $30-40 card and a 9. Another one of these Top Stars, same card. I had this as a 9. And this one came back as an 8. So it was more like a $10-15 card, so loss on that one. Next card we've got the, let's see here, 93 Fleer NBA Superstars MJ. I had this down for a 9. And I hit the mark on that one. So that was a 9. Like 40, 50 bucks. We got the 95 Fleer Total D. Had this as a 9. And it came back as a 9. So we got a couple here that we're hitting spot on. Hitting spot on. I didn't think it was going to 10. I don't remember exactly why I didn't think it was going to. Probably on the back here. Next one. It's a pretty familiar card. This is called the 94 Emotion MJ. I had this as a 9. And it was a 10. So we have our first 10. So I typically put the cards in lesser condition, the estimated lesser condition first. And I had 4 of these. So the fact that the 9 came back as a 10, what I thought was going to be a 9 came back as a 10 was interesting to me. I think about a $230 card, $230, $240 card. And a PSA 10. I think a week or two ago, Fanatics had an auction, and this card sold for about $230. Another Emotion. Excuse me. Had this as a 9. Came back as a 10. Looks like there's a little scratch on the case there. Okay. Another Emotion. I had this one as a 10. Put my paper over here. And this came back as a 9. I hate having a cold. It's so annoying, especially doing videos. The last of the 4 Emotion MJs, I had this as a 10 as well. And this one came back as a 9. So hit 50%, 10, Gem Mint 10 on the Emotion Skybox. So that's pretty good. The 9s are worth about 55 bucks. So the Emotion's 500, 600 bucks, which isn't bad. 550 to 600 just on those 4 cards. And you figure I paid what? $25 for the cards total, so that's pretty good. This is the 96 Top Stars Golden Season MJ. I also had this as a 9. Fortunately came back as an 8. 20 bucks. Small loss. Same card. I had this one as a 10. Excuse me. Came back as an 8. God dang it. So, unfortunate. This is a tough card. I've graded this card a few times. It's 96 Fleer. If you're familiar with the 96 Fleer base card, it's got a lot of black on the front card border, the border of the front part of the card. This is a 9. We got a 10. That's a tough grade. You look at the border up at the top and the red down on the bottom left. So this is a nice card. 300 and a 10. I'm not sure what the pop count is, but I'm guessing it's relatively low for a base card. Same card, 96 Fleer base. I had this one as a 10, so I put the one that I thought was better at the end. And for whatever reason, this grader didn't like that, so I got a 9. So when you look at these two cards, I don't know. I mean, it's been such a long time, back to September, 3 months. I don't recall what the difference was between these two. But whatever it was, the first one was perceived to be better than the second one. Which is fine. It's not typically how it goes, but it is what it is. Excuse me again. This is an Athlete of the Century. This is Upper Deck 99, so this is after Jordan retired. I had this one as a 10, and it came back as a 9. Centering looked pretty good. Probably something surface-wise. It's got a foil front. Yeah, I thought that one looked clean. As they say, looked clean. 96 Fleer hardwood leaders. I had this as a 9. Tough card to get a 10 in. Tough card to get a 9 in. Look at that black border. So hit the money on that one, which is good. Excuse me. This would have been really nice. I had this as a 10, a $440, $450 card and a 10. I thought this looked so clean. Came back as a goddamn 9. So it goes from a $440 card to a $40 card. So you're looking at a 11 times difference. Pretty low pop for this card. Hard to find this card in a PSA 10. I honestly don't know what the issue was with this card. Maybe it was the centering. It's kind of hard because it's got doesn't really have a border to it. This is a card you're familiar with me grading. 96 Skybox Premium. Love this card. Probably graded this card maybe 10 times. I think I've gotten 1 or 2 10s the whole time. I had this as a 9, and it came back as a 7. I suspect the reason is the centering top to bottom. It's usually the issue. You can kind of tell by the positioning of the net. But otherwise, it looked good. Same card, 96 Skybox Premium. Had it as a 10. $400 card as a 10. So this is where it really, the rubber hits the road. Hit a 9. So the 9s were $55. So it's not an insignificant card, but I mean, those last 2 cards I thought were 10s. That's an $800 difference, or $700 difference, because 400 and some versus 100. But that's the way it goes, and you just got to keep. I mean, at least we're profiting off of that card. I mean, the outlay was 75 cents, and the cost of grade was $25. Shipping costs are written off, so might make 10, 15 bucks on that card. I know that card will sell this weekend. I have a couple different buyers who like to get in that $30 to $100 to $200 range in terms of buying your cards for repacks. This is StarQuest 2008 Upper Deck. I had this as a 10, thought it looked really good, and it got a 10. I think this is the base level StarQuest. Believe it or not, it's a $280 to $300 card and a PSA 10. And of course, there's different colors and levels with that card. Graded this card many times, 96 tops. Never gotten a 10. It's always centering. Got a 10. I'm happy about this. This probably is the one that makes me the most happy because, man, I have tried to get this card in a 10 for a while. It's only 120 bucks in a 10, so it's not worth a ton of money, but I think it's a cool card and pretty excited about that one. Okay, this is a card I'm not familiar with. This is WorldCom. Thought it looked good. Had it as a 10, came back as a 9. I know nothing about how this card grades, so really I was kind of blind. Shot in the dark. $30 card. Push. Got a couple of the Hoops Top 10 MJs from 95. I had this one as a 9. And it got a 9. Really cool card. Never graded this card before. So, got some refraction and got the cool pink and purple colors in the background. Love that card. 50 bucks in a PSA. A PSA 9. I had this one down as a 9. It also... No, I'm sorry. Is this right? Let's see. Who's top 10? The first one was a 9. So I got that right. Second one I had as a 9. And it came back as a 9. So, same deal. 50 bucks. Next one I had as a 10, and it came back as an 8. Actually, I think these are out of order. I had this one as a 9, and it came back as an 8, excuse me. And I had this one as a 10, and it came back as a 9. So I thought it looked good, but not evidently good enough. Sorry, I knocked my camera there. A little bit off here. That's okay. So 2 cards left anyway, so we don't have too much left here. This is the Super Feats from 96 Skybox. I had this one as a 9. And we got an 8. So I'm sorry, these cards are 150. I was wrong about that. These are 150 as a 9, so as a 10, this is a 9. Let me go back to this. As a 10, this is a $900 card. So 150, so I mean I bought it for $75, so still worth grading. But had I gotten even just one 10 out of the 3, this card as a 10 is also an $800 card, or it's an $800 card, $900 card. In a 8, it is an $85 card. So still worth grading for sure. And then the last card is the same card. It's a Super Feats. Had this one as a 10. Kind of saved this as the last card of the order. The best card, one of the best cards. Had it as a 10, came back as a 9. $150 card and a 9, which is really pretty solid. So that means like the base value of this card's got to be $125 at least. No, I'm sorry. This is a $200 card and a 9. So I didn't really know a lot about this card until after I got this in the lot. And yeah, in a 10, it's an $800 card. So the multiplier between the 9 and 10 is low for this card. A lot of times with Jordan, you'll have a $500 card that's a $30 card as a 9. $500 as a 10. It's a pretty solid card. So, but unfortunately not a 10. So let's take a look and see how I did overall. Of course, you know me, I got the data on a piece of paper here. So the final value was 2,635. And you can see that's about $2,000, $1,900 less than what I had as the estimated value. Had I hit 10s on a couple of those, 2 or 3 of those, we would have closed the gap on that by quite a bit. Final profit was $1,370. I had the final profit at $3,880. So we're looking at a delta $2,500, which is quite a bit. So quite a bit off. I had the undergrades at 10%. I had the corrects at 26%. Together I had those at 36%. So 11 of the 31 cards I had graded correctly. So I overgraded a ton in this order. 64%. So very much wishful thinking. Rose-colored glasses, whatever you want to call it. 20 of the 31 cards were overgraded. So not a real good job on my part there. Unfortunately, still profited. You know, I'll still take home $1,400 profit. And you can't go wrong with a lot. You know, and I'll sell the other 295 cards eventually, you know, out of the 5,000 count box, or even get some of those graded. So how are we doing on the year here? Let's take a look. Is this right? Let me see here. Yeah, this is correct. So it arrived on August 14th. Didn't get started until September, though, so it sat for about 3 weeks, which is really not great, PSA. Completed November 7th, 2.5, 3 months. September, October, yeah, so 3 months. Grading percentages, 26%, overgraded 64, undergraded 10. The correct, 36% versus 64%, which is terrible. The year on the year percentage wise, which is a little bit skewed. I mean, that's a lot skewed actually. 58% versus 42%. So really, I'm kind of hitting like overall for these orders on average, and this is what order number 14. I'd say 60% are undergraded or correct, and roughly 40% are overgraded. And that's been pretty consistent across the entire year. The estimated profit for this order was $38.80. Final profit was $13.70, excuse me, off by 65%. On the year, estimated profit was $38,580. Final profit's just under $30,000, off by about a third. So almost a $10,000 delta between the estimated profit and the final profit for the year, which is 14 orders. 14 orders total. So what can we make of this? Yeah, it's getting tougher. I'm not going to lie. The increased prices with PSA do not help at all, especially if you're a collector. If you're a dealer, it's a little bit different if you own a business. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's taking a long time to get their cards back. They're grading the cards harder, and they're more expensive with PSA. It's kind of like a trifecta of shit, in my opinion. But then again, PSA is what transacts. I mean, like, as much as I would love to put these cards into CGC slabs, I just don't think they would sell right now. There's not enough of them in the market, and I don't want to be in a position where I sell these cards for less. SGC, absolutely not. No, I'm not putting these cards in SGC slabs. The only cards that I would put in SGC slabs would be like low to mid vintage. That's it. That's it. And I'm talking low to mid as in like anything below a 5 or a 6, I'm putting in a PSA slab. BGS, yeah, I'd put some stuff in a BGS slab, and I've sent some things to BGS. But right now, the best option I think is still PSA. You just got to really play your cards carefully. Otherwise, you can get burned pretty bad. And it's important to get those cards at a low-cost basis, or as low a cost basis as you can, which isn't always possible. You know, sometimes you're going to, break even, lose. So you have to be judicious. I really think a big game changer is if you can do this as a business and write some of these costs off. Otherwise, it's I don't know how people do it without writing those costs off. Shipping, grading fees, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, it becomes pretty darn tough to do this as a sole proprietor or as a collector. I guess you could do it as a sole proprietor, write the costs off, but I run my business as an LLC, so. Well, that's all I know. I know it's not the greatest order, greatest reveal, but it's also not bad. It's still going to profit about $1,300. And like I said, 90% of these cards will be gone in about 5 days. Take care. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Peace out. One love.